All right, it's day 11 of our Read Aloud of Wonder. If you did not read or listen to yesterday's reading, I want you to go back and listen to it because something crazy happened and I don't want you to miss out on what that was. So if you didn't listen yesterday, go back. And now all of my friends that did listen, you're with me today. So we're right in the middle of where Augie and his friends were out in the woods during the movie of the camp night. So the me and 7th graders were just on them, and so that's where we left off, right? So they were just kind of in a fight. So voices in the dark. Finally, after what seemed like forever of running, someone yelled, "I think we lost them." "Amos?" "I'm right here," said Amos' voice a few feet behind us. "We can stop," Miles yelled from farther up. "Jack," I yelled. "Whoa," said Jack, "I'm here." "I can't see a thing." "Are you sure we lost them?" Henry asked, letting go of my arm. That's when I realized that he'd been the one who was pulling me as we ran. "Yeah, shh, let's listen." We all got super quiet, listening for footsteps in the dark. All we could hear were the crickets and frogs of our own crazy panting. We were out of breath, stomachs hurting, bodies bent over our knees. We lost them," said Henry. "Whoa, that was intense. What happened to the flashlight?" "I dropped it." "How did you guys know?" said Jack. "We saw them before, though they looked like jerks." "You just rammed into them," I said to Amos. "I know, right?" laughed Amos. "He didn't even see it coming," said Miles. "He was like, 'Are you a freak too?' And you were like, 'Bam,'" said Jack. "Bam," said Amos, throwing a fake punch in the air. But after I tackled him, I was like, "Run, Amos, you schmuck. He's 10 times bigger than you." And I got up and started running as fast as I could. We all started laughing. I grabbed Augie and I was like, "Run," said Henry. "I didn't even know it was you pulling me," I answered. "That was wild," said Amos, shaking his head. "Totally wild." "Your lip is bleeding, dude." "I got in a couple of good punches," answered Amos, wiping his lip. "I think they were 7th graders. They were huge." "Losers," Henry shouted really loudly, but we all shushed him. We listened for a second to make sure no one had heard him. "Where the heck are we?" said Amos. "I can't even see the screen." "I think we're in the cornfields," answered Henry. "Duh, we're in the cornfields," said Miles, pushing a corn stalk at Henry. "Okay, I know exactly where we are," said Amos. "We have to go back in this direction. That'll take us to the other side of the field." "Yo, dudes," said Jack, hand high in the air. "That was really cool of you guys to come back for us. Really cool." "Thanks." "No problem," answered Amos, high-fiving Jack. And then Miles and Henry high-fived him too. "Yeah, dudes, thanks," I said, holding my palm up like Jack just had, though I wasn't sure if they'd high-five me too. Remember, they used to be part of the people that were playing the play, right? Amos looked at me and nodded. "It was cool how you stood your ground, little dude," he said, high-fiving me. "Yeah, Augie," said Miles, high-fiving me too. "You were like, 'We're littler than you guys.'" I didn't even know what else to say, I laughed. "Very cool," said Henry, and he high-fived me too. "Sorry I ripped your sweatshirt." I looked down and my sweatshirt was completely torn in the middle. One sleeve was ripped off, and the other was so stretched out it was hanging down to my knees. "Hey, your elbow's bleeding," said Jack. "Yeah," I shrugged. It was starting to hurt a lot. "You okay?" said Jack, seeing my face. I nodded. Suddenly, I felt like crying, and I was trying really hard not to do that. "Wait, your hearing aids, they're gone," said Jack. "What?" I yelled, touching my ears. The hearing aid band was definitely gone. That's why it felt like I was underwater. "Oh no," I said, and that's when I couldn't hold it in anymore. Everything had just happened, kind of hit me, and I couldn't help it. I started to cry, like big crying, what Mom would call the waterworks. I was so embarrassed I hid my face in my arm, but I couldn't stop the tears from coming. The guys were totally nice to me, though. They patted me on the back. "You're okay, dude. It's okay," they said. "You're one brave little dude. You know that?" said Amos, putting his arm around my shoulders. And when I kept on crying, he put both arms around me like my dad would have done and just let me cry. The Emperor's Guard. We backtracked through the grass field for a good 10 minutes to see if we could find my hearing aids, but it was way too dark to see anything. We literally had to hold onto each other's shirts and walk in a single file so we wouldn't trip over one another. It was like black ink had been poured all around. "This is hopeless," said Henry. "They could be anywhere." "Maybe we can come back with a flashlight," answered Amos. "No, it's okay," I said. "Let's just go back. Thanks, though." We walked back towards the cornfields and then cut through them until the back of the giant screen came into view. Since it was facing away from us, we didn't get any light from the screen at all until we walked around to the edge of the woods again. That's where we finally started seeing a little light. There was no sign of the 7th graders anywhere. Where do you think they went? Said Jack. Back to the food truck, said Amos. They're probably thinking we're going to report them. Are we? Asked Henry. They looked at me. I shook my head. Okay, said Amos, but little do. Don't go walking around here alone again, okay? If you need to go somewhere, tell us and we'll go with you. Okay, I nodded. As we got closer to the screen, I could hear high on the hill was a lonely Gothard and could smell the cotton candy from one of the concession stands near the food trucks. There were lots of kids milling around in this area, so I pulled what was left of my hoodie over my head and kept my face down. Hands in pockets, and we made our way through the crowd. It had been a long time since I'd been out without my hearing aids, and it felt like I was miles underneath the earth. It felt like that song Miranda used to sing to me, Ground Control to Major Tom, your circuit's dead, there's something wrong. I did notice as I walked that Amos had stayed right next to me, and Jack was close on the other side, and Miles was in front of us, and Henry was behind us. They were surrounding me as we walked through the crowds of kids, like I had my own Emperor's Guard. All right, that's where we're going to stop today.